Anyone want to pretend to be Monkey?
No thanks.
Okay.
Go ahead, do it, Weekend. Go for it.
Okay, wait.
Sounds just like him.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Simian Jimmy podcast. I'm your host, Simian Jimmy. With me as always, Mr. Florian Himzel.
Hey guys, I'm here to talk about how the Spider-Verse could be better.
Oh, very nice. And now also with us today is Mr. Erich McCoy.
Oh, it's so nice to be back in the sure-handed podcast alongside Simian Jimmy, my one and true friend, right?
Yes, that's right. It's so good to have you guys here on this show.
Yeah, Simian Jimmy couldn't be here, so he said that we should start without him, you know. He'll be here soon, okay?
Yeah, we're waiting for Jimmy.
Alright, so Erich and everyone else, you surely have seen my video on Spider-Verse. My
so presumptuous.
My video on Spider-Verse, definitely mandatory watching for this one, right? So what did you think of my assertion that Miles Morales is the worst Spider-Man ever?
Can you clarify that? Well, why he's the worst?
Can you give reasons? Sources?
Well, he's just the worst hero. Like, there's nothing useful at all that he does throughout this movie. He is completely terrible as both a son and a hero. He just is on his phone while trying to fight a hero, while trying to fight the Spot. And everything
pro Spot, Florian?
Oh my god.
Oh, I fucking hate the Spot, and Miles should have fucking gotten him arrested immediately, okay? Miles is so incompetent, he can't even handle the Spot. And then, what does he do? He goes messing with the Spider-Verse technology that he should obviously not have been messing with. They all specifically wanted him to not be involved because they all know how terrible of a hero he is. And then he goes there, messes everything up. He has all the spider people chasing after him because he just can't play by the rules, you know? He does not give a shit that now like 200 spider heroes are not protecting their reality. They're all busy chasing after him. He does not give a shit. He does not care that him trying to save his father will endanger the entire universe that he's in. And that's why Miles Morales is just the worst Spider-Man out there.
Okay, technically, the worst Spider-Man is the one who dies in the first Across the Spider-Verse movie. Because if it weren't for him, the cross-dimensional beam that Kingpin was working on wouldn't have, and this entire thing wouldn't have happened in the first place. So Miles is just the excess,
the byproduct of the things that happened in the very beginning of that first movie. So that's the worst Spider-Man, the blonde one.
So you don't have any objection that Miles Morales is in fact terrible then?
No, because he was not supposed to be Spider-Man, so he's like trying his best to live up to that mantle, and because of that, he should not be held across every other Spider-Man.
So he's a special case.
Wait.
Yeah, exactly.
But why does he?
He's a struggling African Latino student
with the swagger of an African Latino.
But why?
The exaggerated swagger.
But that's not the movie that we're seeing. Like in this movie, Miles Morales
is.
No, he is supposed to be the good guy in this movie.
The entire movie is all of the Spider-Men telling him you should not even exist. Your entire purpose, your entire existence is a flaw.
Well, they're not wrong.
People said when he was first announced as Spider-Man, people were pissed that they were letting a little brown kid be Spider-Man. And
yeah, that must be the real problem.
He has to overcome that. That's the struggle of the movie, is people telling him you shouldn't be Spider-Man.
But how does he overcome it? By just being a terrible Spider-Man? I don't understand.
I mean, he tells that. Well, he outruns literally every other Spider-Man.
I don't know about that.
That has to count for something.
Well, he also had a plan to get them out of the headquarters so he can sneak out. I think that's something.
Yeah, but he's if you're sneaking out of a fortified hero fortress, you might be a villain. I don't know how you're seeing this as a positive. Like, he's subverting the law and order of this world.
So you're saying the FBI or CIA have never done ever?
Yeah. Oh no, they never did anything wrong. No. What do you mean? Like, unironically, I support them. All right.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Damn.
Yep.
Florian says Operation Typhoon. A-okay with me.
Yeah.
Which
totally
one was
cool
that?
With giving rockets and weapons to extremists all around the world because they oppose the thing that we oppose.
I mean, that could work out. Yeah, I trusted they did
it
the
really
right
didn't.
thing.
It ended up getting us 9/11.
Wow. I don't know. I think you're being a bit reductive in your analysis there. There's no way that directly led to 9/11. Okay.
And
we literally gave Osama bin Laden weapons.
Well,
that's his thing. That's how he
and
got
then
power.
30 years later, he was like,
well, I think that Miles Morales is 9/11 of this show. Okay,
Miles Morales is the 9/11 of the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, he's piloting into this skyscraper of Spider-Man. Okay,
I said the wrong operation. It was Operation Cyclone, not Typhoon.
I guess that sounds familiar. Yeah, but no, like if you're just gonna be against America and then your idea of that is just like be worse at it in every possible way, then yeah, please cut it out, you know?
So, like, here's the thing: the argument in these movies that are made by Miguel O'Hara, who is the Spider-Man 2099, is that the Spider-Verse is a like infinitely connected group of universes in which there are canonical events that should happen to every Spider-Man in order to make them the hero that they need to be for the rest of the like universe to exist. And I think what the movie is putting down is that actually doesn't need to stay how it is, and that by enforcing those things, they're just like making suffering for everyone.
But we know
by
that
saying this captain needs to die in order for Spider-Man to exist is kind of bullshit. There are ways to save these people and value them. And if you have to like stop protecting people or say this person has to die, you've kind of inherently given up on saving people.
Yeah. Well, and the whole thing about there's the universe like being destroyed. The biggest problem with that hypothesis is that Miles' universe and the alter Miles, the evil Miles universe is still around, even though the canon
the Prowler universe,
the Prowler Miles universe is still around despite canon events not being canon, because like what Miguel O'Hara has been harping on about, Miles is not supposed to be the Spider-Man; it's supposed to be Mr. Blondie.
But that's
a disruption of a canon event based on what the movie is defined. Why is this universe still around?
Well, right? it's pretty obvious.
Or why is Prowler's universe still around when there's supposed to be a Spider-Man?
It's pretty obvious that the Spider-Man from the Citadel of Spider-Man have been cleaning up these messes, and if they stop cleaning them up...
No, it's not! You're filling in for the movie.
Dude, what on earth do you think that they're doing? Like, they specifically go out there and stop whenever the timeline is being messed with. They do that. See them...
Yeah, but the biggest gimme I will give you is probably they fixed Miles' universe. But I mean, Prowler's universe, but they don't mess with Miles' universe because they don't like him, because he's that prime anomaly.
They probably closed off the Prowler universe so that it can't like interact with anything else. Although Miles was able to get there but he only got there because it sees what Spider... Yeah, it sees what Spider universe you're from and then sends you there. So the spider from that universe bit Miles, and Miles went back to that universe.
I mean, they weren't supposed to send him back. Like, he did that on his own. Like, they would have left that universe alone, I guess. And the universe where Miles is Spider-Man, that one works too. Like, it fixed itself, and maybe they fixed it, you know? But that universe has a Spider-Man, and that Spider-Man has to go through canon events, and that's just how it works.
Florian, you're wrong. You're just wrong, because the Spider-Man that like passed the mantle on to Miles was not supposed to die there.
Yeah,
he was just supposed to be the Spider-Man until, I guess, eventually he dies of old age or passes it on some other way. Like, that is not a canon event, the thing that he died there.
Yeah, by this movie's logic, the universe should have collapsed. Was the explosion that they fixed the whole thing in Across the Spider-Verse, did that fix that universe? I don't know.
I mean, they definitely fixed something in the first one.
By their estimation in this movie, Miles even being Spider-Man in the first place is a huge mistake, and they are trying to like keep him within that universe as much as possible, so it doesn't spread like the flaw over to other universes and stuff like that.
I mean, that makes sense because he does end up
is flawed.
How?
No, that itself is flawed because like the entire thing was started by Miguel in the first place because he could not handle losing his daughter or whatever, so he went to another universe, and so like the entire thing is Miguel's fault. In fact, he's just trying to cover for the fact that he made a mistake in the first place. And I'm sure that like in a like time travel or like multiple universes theory, it would be that he is the one who set everything off, and he's just desperately trying to cover for his own initial mistake.
Well, he says that, he admits it. There's nothing being covered up. He's just trying to fix it because he's a hero. He doesn't go out and try to cause more havoc like Miles Morales does.
I think by trying to cover for it and trying to like do all this other stuff, they're only doing further harm to the overall fabric of the universe.
Space-time.
Well, I think that's ridiculous. I think the fact that you're seeing all the work they're doing and how they are specifically saving people from glitching villains that will destroy their universes, and you're seeing that and you're saying, oh no, they're just doing more harm. No, they're not. Like, these universes would be destroyed if they let that stupid Da Vinci Hawk guy run loose. That universe would have been done for, okay? Like, they're doing important work.
This is the interesting problem that Spider-Verse has, where you got a bunch of Spider-Men saying that you have to let this person die or else the universe will be destroyed. And for all the Spider-Men that are around there was the problem I have with the movie is not one Spider-Man went, that's fucked up, bro. I'm not signing up for this shit. Fuck you, Miguel.
I do think you could read it as there's tons of Spider-Man who did say that, and they're just not there because they're not willing to.
Okay. And Hobie, now that I realized it, Hobie peaced out at some point, yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. Like, if you... No, I don't believe you, actually. No, I think that the Spider-Mans would realize that if you have, like, the possibility of the universe ending and one person dying, you definitely let that one person die. I think they just have advanced enough moral character that they wouldn't risk their entire universe just to save their one loved one, okay?
I don't know about that, man.
That's power and responsibility, Florian. Yeah. If you have the power to save someone, you should at least try. You should not have somebody else come in and be like, I'm sorry, this is fated to happen. You should try to use your power.
Yeah. I mean, it would have happened anyways. Like he's not coming in and making it happen. He's just not warning them about them. Just the same way you wouldn't go and warn someone from making a mistake in the past because it would destroy everything that we have now. Like, it's a pretty known fact that you shouldn't mess with time travel. Like, it usually doesn't go well. And I don't know why you think that this is different. I don't know why you think...
Yeah, but it's not even... This is not time travel, Florian. This is them just saying, this pattern has to reestablish itself because we say it has to. Like, it's saying, because everyone's father dies, that your father has to die right now.
Well, so it's always someone else who has to die, and they like pieced it out what's going to happen. I guess they have some kind of future vision, or maybe they have time travel. I don't know, but I mean,
no, I think it's entirely them just saying other Spider-Men have lost their captain, police captain figure, so this one has to die.
But no, it's not always the same one, is it? Like,
Well, they imply they have like some sort of.
I mean, they must have like actual knowledge of what's going to happen, right? Because
at several points in the movie, Gwen's father, who is the Captain George Stacy, is in danger, and she thinks he might die. But then he stops being a police captain, so the Captain Stacy can't die. That's an entirely like acceptable thing for somebody to do. Is just decide I don't want to fill this role anymore.
What? So he could just tell his dad to quit his job and he'd be fine?
Possibly. I think we'll see in the third movie, but like I think what the movie is portraying is that people have more options than the limited ones that the like rulers of the Spider Society want to tell them they have.
I mean, the way I interpret it is that someone near them will die because they have like a relationship.
I mean, that has already happened in most of the cases. To make a Spider-Man, it's all in Gwen's case. It was her boyfriend Peter or friend Peter, whatever, who took the lizard serum and then died from that. In Miles' case, it could be his uncle. His uncle the Prowler. There's no need for a second death to like spur them on for the most part. Making that the entire reason behind this happening is kind of dumb to say, oh, they need another death in their existence though.
So you're basically saying that it's all bullshit and that none of the bad things will happen, like if he prevents the
I
death.
think that, yeah.
What?
Yeah, and I'm saying it's because Miguel traveled to another universe and tried to insert himself into that universe is what made the problems.
I mean, yeah, he says that. Like, obviously that's the problem, but he has to fix it still. Like, if he just goes back, it would still be there, the problem. Like,
I'm just gonna throw this out there. I think Miles being an anomaly will be the thing that saves this whole universe canon events thing. I think that's what they're gonna go with it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
very well could.
That's probably it, but I think that's unearned. I think Miles has done nothing but fuck up throughout this entire movie.
He saved Captain Singh, bro. Like, so he fucked up.
Which one was he?
That's the Indian captain in the Mumbai.
Spider India. In Mumbai.
I mean, like...
No, I'm
well, that's one thing that he may have... What do you
mean by fuck up though?
Well, he ruined the Spot and made him the worst villain they've faced yet. Like,
yeah, because
I mean, he literally just threw a bagel at him for me. That's all he did.
I mean, don't you think that he should try a little better at his job?
No, because he underestimated him at the time. That was the whole point of it. And it turns out you shouldn't underestimate the Spot. That was
and the classic Spider-Man has done that to his villains all the goddamn time.
Yeah, he talks shit.
He makes fun of Shocker all the time. He makes fun of Kingpin for being fat all the time. Like, that's just what Spider-Man does.
Wow, maybe Spider-Mans are just terrible, huh? Damn. But I mean,
how dare you, sir?
But the fact that he was on his phone while on the fight is a whole new level. Okay, you can't tell me that's not particularly bad.
Spider-Man's constantly doing shit like that.
Yeah, that's his thing, man.
There's no way.
Have you just never seen a Spider-Man thing before?
I've seen the Spider-Man trilogy, and he doesn't do shit like that in that.
Yeah, but you know that in Spider-Man 2, he's juggling the responsibility of being a student and Spider-Man. So
yeah, but he's not on his phone while he's fighting.
I bet you if cell phones were popular at the time, Sam Raimi would insert a scene like that.
Wow. Well, I guess he was saved by his limited technology, huh?
Florian, he delivers pizzas in the Spider-Man costume.
And he suffers for it, yeah.
How does he suffer for it?
He got fired by the Indian boss. You forgot?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean... I mean, that's fine. He didn't mess with a supervillain, at least. Jeez.
So that makes it not... So it makes it okay since it's not a supervillain? Do I understand?
Well, he just lost the job. Like, yeah, that's probably... That's not as bad as messing with the Spot, you know? Like, Jesus.
Yeah, but at that, Florian, it's like an escalation in the story. At that point, even the Spot didn't know he was that badass. Mm-hmm. Right?
And within the comics, the Spot has always been a D or, like, E tier villain. where they don't really have to be taken seriously. They're just easily defeated, and then they go to jail, and then they eventually break out. But I think it's very interesting that the movie posits what mentally that kind of person would do in that situation, and how deeply they'd like fall into themselves and become nihilistic and like a true villain.
Wow. So do you really think that there's going to be no consequences at all to him messing with the canon events? Like, I'm sure there's going to be something horrible that happens because of it. Like, it would be crazy if there was nothing, right?
I think everything the movie is pointing you to is that the canon event structure is flawed, and
well, yeah, I mean, it's obviously stupid, but like we've seen that people glitch out if they don't adhere to canon. Like, there might be another villain in this movie where
they glitch out if they're in the wrong universe, right?
Well, I mean, I assume that the whole universe glitches out if they don't do the canon events. Like, why do you think they enforce those events if nothing happens? Like they must have had a point where they...
It's the kind of thing where there are some canon events that are important, like a Spider-Man being made, and so a universe will go off course if it doesn't have a Spider-Man for some amount of time. But if it's something like a Captain George Stacy dying, to like be pedantic and be like, that has to happen to every single Spider-Man is kind of dumb.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess so. But I mean, I assume it has to happen. Like, it was made in that Spider-Verse computer where it visualizes the canon events. I assume that wasn't just... I'm sure that's not just made up, you know? I'm sure that's there for a reason. They probably read, like, the fabric of reality, and they found that this is a necessary structure to it. I think
But I think in identifying a structure, you uphold it, and by upholding it, you're essentially, like, forcing trauma onto people. And I think if there's a way to avoid that trauma when necessary, you should try to avoid that trauma.
But what if just one universe gets destroyed? Would you do it then?
I mean, can you specifically say that was the reason that universe was destroyed? Maybe, but I think,
yeah, you probably could.
Larger than...
Like, if you're saying we're gonna go against canon and we're gonna stop worrying about canon, and I'm sure we'll see some kind of glitches happening all over the place, you know? Like...
No, but I mean, like, I think the creation of Spider-Man should be a canon event, but these other, like, lesser traumas maybe shouldn't be. There will be other things in those people's lives that will spurn them on to still be Spider-Man. You don't have to, like, rely on this one thing every single time.
Yeah, like a captain should die, a Ben should die. It's like, it's formula time, guys. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the exact kind of thing where it's like, all that comes down to is formula. It's just, this is how this story is supposed to go. Why? Because I said it's supposed to go that way. And it's the thing that is killing superhero movies at this point, is because we've seen all of that shit before, and we should try to get out of that, not adhere to that as closely as possible.
I mean, I do agree with that, and I hate the fact that they've rebooted Spider-Man like 100 times, and he never gets to fucking grow up. He's always some snot-nosed teenager who can't handle his power, because every time he could grow up, they reboot him, and he always has to go through the same trauma every time. Yeah, that sucks, you know, but I don't see how this guy has the formula to fix it, you know? He just goes in there, guns blazing, and he doesn't find a peaceful solution. He just like goes in and like messes with everything.
Well, that's because it's not yet the climax of the story.
This is the part 2 of a 3 of a 3. Well, this is part 1 of a 3-part, 2-part trilogy. Oh shit!
It's called a trilogy. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, second part of the trilogy. The third part will be where you figure out a solution and then convey it and figure it out.
Well,
hopefully it's a satisfying one.
Yeah, I'll be very surprised, because like I think that
there is part of this. We're only having this argument because we story out of this movie, and because it's a part 2, we need to lean on the part 3 to think, okay, well, what will this part tell us that makes this part make sense, and then also is a compelling story for the entire trilogy.
I mean, the whole thing, you said there's no climax. Yeah, there really is nothing that's a good payoff in this movie, is there? Like,
I mean, the climax for this movie would be the chase against Miles to get him, and his escape from that would be like the like biggest action, and then him being in the other universe would be like the cliffhanger or the little shock before the end of the falling action.
I mean, I feel like that was so anticlimactic. Sure, he got away, but like that was just like colorful vomit all over the screen. Like that fucking Spider-Man chase scene goes on for so long, and it's just random shit happening all the time. Like I don't see how that could be like a satisfying climax to you.
No, like the chase itself is not. It's him telling, and like confirming for himself that he's not going to. It's entirely tied to the thing that
you keep cutting out.
Don't let anyone let you not be included or part of this whole thing. You are worth standing up for and fighting for, and I think it's worth kids to hear that lesson. But yeah, like he stands up for himself. He says, "Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna find a way around this." And yeah, he's standing up against the system.
Wow, like I can't believe that you would condone like a single person standing up against the entire system, like in an all-out war. You really think that this is a good narrative? Do you really think that's the way to change the system?
Florian, that is what most hero narratives do. It is one person standing up against a bad, corrupt system and saying, "This ends here. I'm going to find a way to change it," and then they do. That's storytelling, Florian.
That's what Irich has been saying this whole time, Florian. There's another way.
I don't think this is the other way, okay? I don't think that this is the way to get these people to change. Like, you think that him...
Florian, I guarantee you the reason he's in that other unit is that he's going to find the way to change the entire unit, change the entire thing in that like alternate timeline universe, and then throughout the next movie he's going to try to find a way to like fix everything. Like that's just how these things work.
I mean, I guess
Prowler
that's lucky for him.
I think Prowler Miles will even like be a part of the cast. I really think he'll like tag along, because like the color scheme for the third movie is like purple. So that's kind of like the colors of the Prowler. So
Prowler's colors are like purple and
wow,
green.
that would be crazy having 2 Miles like that.
Yeah.
It's just, wow. I mean, I don't know. I just think that that this isn't the way it would work. Like, you have, I guess, Civil War where you have superheroes fighting, and it wouldn't just be like one guy fighting against everyone. That wouldn't work out. Like, at least try to work with them and then try to find a solution.
That's what he's going to do. He's going to find a solution and then bring it to them and be like, look, if we can implement this, things will be better and we'll find a way. Like, we just haven't gotten to that part of the story yet. Like,
but yeah,
the problem with your suggestions is that Miguel doesn't want him to even try to help. That's the thing.
I mean, he could try it. He could try doing research to see what could help. Like, I'm sure Miguel wouldn't object to that. Like, of course,
no, Miguel does not want him anywhere around this whole Spider-Verse. He wants him stuck in his actual dimension or whatever.
I mean, that's the dimension where he would have to stop the Canon event. That's the thing that he wants to stop anyway. So he'd be fine there.
Yeah, but not if he's going to stop his quote-unquote canon event. Like, Miguel doesn't want him to do that either. So, like, he's kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should have just played along and like, continued to be on the Citadel and maybe try to find a way, but okay, I guess we got more of...
No, they weren't going to let him stay there. They were going to send him back. Although, even that wouldn't have worked to the Prowler universe.
Well, they would have sent him back to the proper universe. They would have known that one at least. I don't know.
Actually, I mean, maybe I guess maybe Gwen like says, okay, this is what his universe is. We'll take him back there, but like the spider machine that is used to send them back will not send him back to his universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. No. Alright, so maybe he's got a point, but I still think that this movie is way worse than everyone says, because at least the first hour is almost entirely pointless, and then it just ends on to be continued.
I disagree.
Wow, big opposition to me today.
No, I'm like, what? Okay, I'm curious, why do you think it's useless?
I mean, like, all he does is like mess with the spot, and it's so slow. Like so much stuff is so slow, and it's just like Spider-Gwen moping around because she can't be around Miles, and Miles moping around and trying to do his life, and we have two of them talking to their parents. Come on, that didn't need to be an entire hour. Okay, all those things could have been. Yeah.
Florian, that's called thematic mirroring of characters. They are going through the same kind of problem. It's just that they are facing different things because they're different people.
Yeah, and just the pacing of it does not seem like it should be in a movie that ends on to be continued, you know? Like, it just wasn't satisfying enough to watch.
I mean, I think within the way the movie developed structure and within the way that like the character arcs work, you kind of do get conclusion for both characters within their little arcs. With Gwen, she is able to tell her father who she is, and he accepts her for who she is and quits being a police captain, and that is a complete arc for her and her dad. And then with Miles is told by his mom, you got to stand up for yourself, you got to be accepted wherever you go, and if they don't accept you, you got to find a way to get around that, and that's what he comes to by the end of the movie. Like that is a complete arc on both characters.
I mean, just because it's an arc doesn't mean that it was like worth having it this way, you know? Like, don't you think it would have been better if they had at least defeated like the Spot or something? They could always say he broke out.
But the Spot is like being built up as, I think, the biggest villain. The true threat.
Yeah, but he could still work if they arrest him and then he breaks out. Like, he could still fill that role, and the movie would be better for it if they actually took him seriously instead of just Yeah.
So you just want him? I think it's a problem. I think you wouldn't have this problem if the sequel came out already, because I think that's a lot of. I see that as a problem with a lot of people, that they didn't like the ending.
Well, yeah, I mean, the ending really does suck, you know? It really is that bad.
But it's part of a cliffhanger, so I'm not really... I don't really get the problem with it. It's designed to be that way.
Mm-hmm. But it's not a good cliffhanger. I'm not even hyped up, you know? It's like this isn't worth it. I've seen way better ways of doing this, and I don't know, it just doesn't work for me.
If the Spot is imprisoned, how will that help the climax?
I mean, it would be better to have an actual fight. But
the Spot is almost completely divorced from the rest of the story at this point. Like, he exists within Miles' universe. He is something that Miles inadvertently created, and he almost has nothing to do with the Spider Society part of the story. He is kind of just a ripple effect of Miles being bitten and Miles kind of causing problems within his universe.
Well, the thing is that the Spider Society is kind of a shitty story, and they should have not bothered putting it in like the second half of the movie if they're not gonna have a conclusion to it. They should have merely hinted at it and then did that story in seasons in the next one. Okay, I don't see how
it's too inherently tied to like Miles' struggle in the movie, Gwen's struggle in the movie. Like,
yeah,
you have to like find a way to get Gwen and Miles back together. So she has to find a way to get to the other universe, because in the first movie they just drop out of their universes and into this one. So if you want those characters together, you have to find a way to bridge them somehow.
What? No, that didn't need to take an hour.
The Spider-Verse. Yeah, but if it's the Spider-Verse like movie franchise, you have to find a way to like let them travel through universes. You have to like all of these things are just built into how this story
it didn't need to take an hour. They didn't need to start two stories. They have the story of the Spot and the story of the Spider Society, none of which are concluded. And
they're all tied into Miles' story.
Yeah, they could have still done all that
for both of those things.
They could have still done all that and still made some kind of conclusion to this movie. It didn't need to be like this. Even the second half, which is a lot better, it still has just a lot of talking and saying, oh, this is our Spider-Verse ideology, it has to be this way. This could have been in the next one. They didn't need to have all this exposition and no payoff.
But I don't want them to introduce something as important as this for the overall story in the last movie they're going to tell. You can't introduce this entire big thing and then instantly tie it up like that.
Well, they could introduce it. They can introduce it without, revealing, the main conflict of it, okay? They could have shown the Spider-Man people who go from universe to universe and fixing stuff. Yeah.
But, despite the fact that Miles is a glitch within this timeline, and despite the fact that, Miles is a lot of the reason these bad things are happening, you want him to just work within the Spider Society, and then in the third one, they, turn on him.
I mean, yeah, they actually did that in this movie. They could have just done it for longer. That would have been better.
That's weird. Then the pacing would be weird for the third movie. I think this is the perfect cliffhanger to lead up to the third movie.
But we had, the pacing was not good, right? You didn't think this was good pacing, did you?
I think
I've only seen it once, but I didn't mind the pacing at all.
You didn't mind?
It went on.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest problems that Florian has is the first hour is too long, and you just wanted to get on with the Spider Society. Is that correct?
I mean, the first part is almost entirely pointless. Yes, of course. Please try to
it's called
cut
character building, Florian.
Oh, fuck off. We don't need to have the same character built twice. Oh wow, they both have this mirrored narrative. No thanks. Didn't need to go for an entire hour.
No, but that's the romance subplot, friendship angle of the movie.
But they didn't have that. They were alone for 45 minutes, and only then they finally meet up. That wasn't that great, okay? It didn't need to be that much of it. They would have had a good romance if they had been together longer.
Yeah,
I want to see the characters struggle and go up against the things in their lives and not just be okay, Miles is the hero, only going to focus on Miles for the entire thing. I think it helps the movie to establish different universes, different art styles within those universes, to really just show you what they can do with the technology that they've developed for the movie. And I think putting you in that impressionistic watercolor universe that Gwen is native to is a great thing for the movie to do.
Yeah, and I think they understood that Gwen resonated with a lot of people, so they were also banking on most people not having a problem with exploring her background. So
They didn't even bring back most of the other people from part one until the very end of this one as well.
Yeah, at the very end, it's said that basically they will be the main crew is with for the next movie. So I don't mind that at all.
I mean, that's bizarre.
New characters I'm interested in.
No, because you have this whole multiverse cast, and you're setting up everyone is gonna come along for the ride for the third movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wouldn't want the second multiverse movie to deal with the same stuff dealt with. I do want to see new things.
But all this thing does is set up stuff for the next one. There's almost nothing that gets resolved here. Everything,
that's the point of the movie.
We're saying the two main character arcs are resolved.
Yeah, and it sets up the conflict for the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess that's just me then, who doesn't give a shit about how the Spider-Man gets along with his dad. All right. Yeah, maybe those two canons are just too boring for me at that point. Okay.
I don't know, Florian. I don't know what to tell you, but Spider-Man and family, that's a thing in That's a Spider-Man thing, bro.
Yeah, that's a pretty boring canon for me. Just always was family. Jesus.
I guess fucking holy shit.
Maybe they should do their own thing at this point.
I can't even formulate a response.
They are.
Rich.
Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy are not like Peter Parker that we've seen that story over and over and over again. These are different iterations of that.
Yeah, wow, just love getting more and more fucking iterations of Spider-Man. God, I just can't wait. God, I hope we get another one. Maybe they should do a whole backstory on Porky Pig Spider-Man next. Oh, man.
Why the fuck not?
Yeah, I bet. What is he called? Spider-Ham?
Spider-Ham.
Yeah, Spider-Ham. I love that in this movie they have a little bubble that pops up just like in the comics that tells you about Hammer Space. Which is the cartoon reality where the Spider-Ham is able to, like, grab objects from. It's so fucking cool.
God damn it, fucking nerd shit. Alright, so Mumpke has finally messaged me, okay, he will not be able to join us in this one. He says he's unhappy with the way the animators were treated in this movie, so he's boycotting it. And I'm sorry that you were here just with the B cast of Is It Kino, you know. But in the finale, we'll all be back together, you know. I'm sorry you didn't get.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So you didn't get the one thing you wanted.
In the last minute. So in the third Spider-Verse episode, he'll be part.
Yeah, into the Simian verse.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Mumkey Cinematic Universe, or the MCU, as we call it here.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Florian, do you want to talk about the strife that the animators have gone through to make this?
I actually didn't read up on it. Do you know what happened?
I think it's just that the directors, creative execs, Phil Lord and Chris Miller specifically, are very perfectionist with their stuff, so they won't even look at like before the rendering animatics and stuff that they put together to show you what their intention is. So they want everything to be like almost done by the time they look at anything. So they will get that, they will look at it, then they will send it back and be like, we don't want this, we want this instead. And so like that just repeated cycle of these people like slave away all year to make something, and then they send it back like at a restaurant and say we want it a different way actually. Just that iterative process.
Wow, that is
creation drove a lot of people crazy.
That is utterly trash. Wow, I can't believe that these people are so fucking bad at their job that they don't even bother like doing all of their job. They just come in at the last moment and they're like, oh yeah, I actually wanted this differently all along, I just didn't bother telling you. God, that is so lame. Oh my god.
Well, I don't necessarily think it's that. I don't even think they know what they want in the moment, but once they see the thing that was created, they say, okay, we don't want that, we want so like their creative process is like 10 steps rather than 3 steps.
Yeah, so like like taking shortcuts, that's a pretty bad way of doing it, I guess.
I think
it's taking long cuts. That's the problem. Is they make it.
No, they don't take long cuts because they just let the other people do the work, and then they're just like, yeah or no, like. That's just them not doing their job. Like, they're supposed to direct these people, but they're just not doing it, and they're just letting them fend for themselves. That's fucking awful.
But that's a much longer process, like...
Yeah, but, I mean, it's a shortcut, because they have less work that way. Like, they just come back to the
I don't
result.
think they do, because they have to watch 10 different things and, like, make notes on every single... Like, if it was a shortcut, they'd say, hey, do this, this, and this, and then they'd get the product and be like, yep, approved. There we go.
Do they have these things happening simultaneously? Wow.
I mean, in animation, there's tons of people working a bunch of different... So...
Well, I see.
Yeah, the process...
It's not one group of animators working on the entire movie. It's thousands of people, I think.
Right, but, I mean, there's only one scene being worked on by one group of people at each time, right?
I think as much as one frame is being worked on by one person at a time.
I read somewhere it took them 4 years to do the chase scene.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's too fucking long.
I mean,
but you watch it and you understand why it took that long. Because it's so detailed. Like, if you've seen the breakdown of the scene where, like, Miguel O'Hara, like, lands on the ground and like charges forward, there in each like individual scene there's crazy animation things happening there, and you really wouldn't be able to tell that unless you like slow it down or like do a frame by frame of it, because there's like crazy animation things happening there.
Well, I don't know. seems pretty over the top, I guess. I mean,
it's definitely over the top, and I don't think animators should suffer that much in order to make their stuff. But you can't argue with the final product they did get out of it. Like, the animation in this movie is some of the best I've ever seen in any movie ever. So they yielded a great final product.
Well, I do think they could do the chase scene in like 2 years if they started with what they liked first, right? If
exactly. Like,
draft, yeah,
it's a bad way to get to it, but they do get to it.
I mean, yeah, obviously that one did definitely take too long. I don't know, they probably could have cut some corners on that one. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sold. Like, all that detail just passes you by.
You're just a hater.
It's just a big blur, you know. Just like all that effort,
Spider-Man.
like seeing all those different art stuff. I wish one of those Spider-Mans would already have more than 3 movies. Okay, just stick with one already. Oh my god.
I mean, they're gonna have a third movie for this series. What's your problem? I'm very confused.
They're gonna have 4? Okay. Wait, really?
No, a third movie.
Yeah, so 3. No more than 3 each time. Like, the other trilogy was 3.
But, like, Florian, your entire argument is that they keep, like, making the same character at the same point, so it's always, like, Peter Parker in high school. Well, this is a different character.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, but I guess I didn't like how they did it.
You're like Phil Lord. You're like a creative director. You don't know what you want yet.
I mean, no, I know what I want. I know that I can definitely look at this studio and just know that all of this stuff is mediocre. I'm not going to be a big fan of it. Like,
wow.
Yeah, fuck that, okay? Like, they're so high up on their horse, they just don't give a shit about the work of other animators either. Like, they went into this Puss in Boots stuff and they just completely revamped the art style, and it didn't even look good. Like, what the hell? They don't know what they're doing.
Just completely disagree.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I bet. Like, yeah, you saw that perfectly working art style? Fucking get rid of that one, please. Fucking slow.
I watched the first Puss in Boots movie before. It is terrible looking.
Okay, maybe I should watch it again, but I remember it being good. Oh well. I mean...
maybe it's good, but it doesn't look good.
Part of it is the character design, because I fucking hate Humpty Dumpty or whatever. Terrible fucking...
Well, I mean, I don't like the... Character. Wait, you mean just Humpty in general, or how they did him in that movie?
How they did him in that movie. Like, it's just disgusting.
Oh, I gotta look that one up.
Oh, he's typing. I can see it. I can hear him typing.
I gotta find... Oh, you're right, that is pretty hideous. I mean, yeah. I mean, I didn't like Jack Horner's character design that much, but I guess he's a very beloved character. Asshole,
so it's fine.
I mean, like, Humpty looks like an asshole in that one. I don't remember what he did, but it must have been pretty heinous, you know?
I think he ultimately is the villain of that movie.
Well, then it makes sense. Rip.
Oh, spoilers per chat.
Yeah, damn, you spoiled this glorious movie, Puss in Boots 1.
How could you?
Alright, well, everyone subscribe for more. Is it Kino, I guess, yep.
Subscribe to Simian Jimmy's Treehouse, where we're always stuck at 18K for some reason. Susan! Yes, Susan!
Oh yeah, I guess I realized that.
In the credits of this episode, it says Simian Jimmy will return.
in Across the Spider-Verse free, or whatever the fuck they're gonna call the third movie.
Yeah, Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Beyond the Spider-Verse. What? Are they gonna cross to real life?
Oh my god. Wow.
I think they just revealed that at one point they were supposed to have a human hand come into the holding a Spider-Man action figure.
Oh my god.
And it would pretend to swing him and stuff. That sounds hilarious. I wish they would do that.
I mean, they probably will. They've done live action stuff in this.
There's a Spider-Man that's a toy, and it's like a Toy Story universe. And he comes alive when there's no one watching him.
but yeah, I definitely know what I want. Like, for example, Illumination. Like, everything they do is pretty good, you know?
Oh my god, I can't fucking believe this! Shut the fuck up!
Oh my god. This is the first time I've heard you get mad.
Yeah, I get mad occasionally. It's such a Minion hater, Jesus.
I can't believe we're watching the Spider-Verse movie and you say, I wish Illumination was watching. Yeah. Get fucked.
Oh,
I wish this was more like Minions, The Rise of Gru.
Oh god, dude, Illumination would make an amazing Spider-Man. They should definitely get that property, alright?
I just got a fucking headache the second you said that. It was like someone nailed a fucking railroad spike right into my fucking... cerebellum. Fuck.
Wow. Well, at least you survived, just like that one man, you know? His personality was never the same, but at least he survived. Wow, you know him?
Yeah. Yeah, Phineas Gage.
Yeah, he's famous, right?
I mean, I guess.
A headshot wound.
Yep.
Okay. You're Rich. Do you have to plug your Twitter?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at TZAR. Follow me there. I'm like 25 follows from 1,000 followers.
Alright, follow Rich. How about you, Mr. Himzel? Do you have an anti-review channel that you want to talk about?
God, you guys should really join me on that anti-reviews channel. I got this really cool series that I just saw called Fired on Mars. We should totally do a video on that one, you know?
Oh, that sounds great. Yeah, no way.
That sounds like a cool timeline to existence. The one where we did the video with Florian on it.
Yeah.
Fired on Mars.
Yeah. I mean, it's no Illumination, but it's pretty good.
God damn you.
You got anything new, Weekend Warrior?
No, I'm Simian Jimmy, and I'm gonna shill my good friend Weekend Warrior.
Oh man, he showed up for a cameo in the finals.
Hell yeah.
Incredible.
Hell yeah.
Or wait, but he showed up at the beginning of the episode too.
Yeah, it ties it all together like a thematic arc. Oh, there you go. Oh, there we go. That's a good way to end this episode. So thank you guys for watching.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.